man?
You good. You good. You good.
Um, Welcome back to the For the Three Hoops podcast. We ain't been here in a while, but we're glad to be back. Um, I took a year off from this because it was too much money and I couldn't find nobody to come on here. Uh, I want everybody to welcome a guy that's been doing it for a long time in DFW, Lone Star Elite head coach, um, Coach Darius Coleman. What's going on, man?
What's happening, Craig? What's happening? Good.
All good, man. All good, man. Before we get into you, man, we got to talk about you were in San Antonio this past weekend watching the final Texas basketball state championships. Uh, what what day did you get up there?
Thursday. Thursday.
Um, talk about. Don't mind that, man. Don't mind that. They can handle themselves. Um, talk about what games did you see on Thursday,
Well, I actually went to games on Friday.
Friday?
Yeah. So,
Um, what games did you see on Friday?
I watched the Plano East game, of course, and the following game. The other games I just watched online.
Um, were you there on you were there all day on Saturday or
No, I actually came back. I had a funeral to attend, so
oh,
I
sorry
came
about
back a
that.
little early. Yeah.
Um, talk about some of the things here. Let's just start with um one of your players, Harris Dar, won a state championship with Parish Episcopal. Talk about that kid a little bit because that was the prior week.
Right. Harris, you know what? Harris actually came to us by happenstance. I was at the Duncanville High School event. There was something going on. I don't remember if we were playing or if I was just watching games. And my cousin, Coach Rod Taylor, who coaches at Episcopal, he spoke to Harris and asked Harris what team he was playing with, and so he was like, "No, you need to be with Lone Star." So from there, a week later, we connected. He came to play for me. One of the best kids I've ever coached, just as a person and a kid who accepts his role. He's a leader. So I just knew that going into the high school season, he would have a big high school season. Now I didn't know, the twins came over with those guys. So that gave them an added punch, but I didn't know that they would have a chance to advance to a state championship. But that's a testament to, the head coach and the coaches over there. They did a great job.
Yeah, I watched them play twice this year. Um, they run their stuff very good. Sawyer Batts is another big player that's on that team, along with the twins, and they got that little guard, that little point guard. I don't know his name right off the top.
TJ, yeah,
TJ,
yeah.
very good. They're gonna be really good next year. They'll definitely contend for that state championship again next year.
Absolutely.
Um, and then let's get into Devin, man,
Devon.
Devon Turner. Rockwall. We, me and you were at a lot of games together.
Right.
We
Right.
weren't together, but we just
We
happened to be
ended up
there.
absolutely.
Uh, a lot of games, and one of the games was Plano East and Rockwall. Um, and you know, we always say, well, Devon had a really good game in that game. Devon was one of the reasons they were so close on that whole game.
Right.
Um, and then Rockwall loses their big man to ACL. And you're thinking, I don't know. They got a really good coach. Devon is a tough kid. They got a freshman over there that's going to be really, really good, and
Right.
they got the pieces around Devon to just go. Talk about how proud you are of Devon, man. How
You know
far they
what?
went.
I mean, I reminded him all season, to just lock in and trust his teammates, and not feel like he had to be in a situation where he had to be the hero unless it presented itself. When he plays for me, I gave him a 4-to-1 rule. Like, look, I need you to get 4 assists and then you can go try to get a bucket. So he kind of bought into that, I think, a little bit more this season of trusting his teammates. And I'm with you. Like the Plano East game, he actually went down with an ankle injury late.
Yeah, he did. I
Um,
forgot about that.
and it was kind of nasty. So he was out a few
Yeah,
weeks. But they showed me during that game against Plano East that they could be a tough out. And when the big guy went down, it was like, oh my God, like I don't know how this will end. But again, like you said, good coaching, all the pieces kind of fit good around him. So, he's a leader. One thing about, Devon, he's a leader and he stepped up in big games and not only played well, but, you know, to me, if you're a really good player, you should, the guys around you, you should help them be better too. So that's a testament to him this season, man. I mean, I would have never told you that I had them penciled in for a regional final game.
don't.
But like you say, good coaching, and he played some really good basketball this year.
Yeah. And hey, man, a lot of it has to do with the route you got to go.
Yeah, absolutely,
I
absolutely.
mean, I mean, I mean, I think they ended up getting beat by Lake Ridge.
Lake Ridge.
So, I mean, you can't ask for more than what they did.
No, absolutely.
And I mean, they only lost to Lake Ridge by 10.
10 or 11, something,
Yeah,
9 to 11, something. I mean, it
yeah,
was it was close,
it was close. Yeah, and it was low scoring game. I think it
right.
was like 48-39 or 37 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And what
Devon,
was
Devon
crazy
is
about
a
Devon texted me and was like, Coach, if we beat Lake Ridge, I got to do it to my guys at Plano East, man. I got to knock them off. But that's
hey
how
he
confident he is.
exactly, and that game would have been competitive. He might have fouled out in that game. I'll be honest with you because that game probably would have been really different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
He's tough.
and then we get into you had four guys at Plano East that
Four
played for
guys
you.
at Plano East.
Um, you had Ethan Moss, you had Jordan Mazzell, John Tran, or Rit, Shoti Kavanik. I got you, bro. Um, talk about man. Let's talk about the Plano East team right now. Um, you go first because I mean we had them penciled in. I mean from the very beginning. I think.
So I watched them quite a bit this year, no doubt, and last year. And I saw even last year early that, they just had a chemistry about them that, they played great together. They don't beat themselves. They play the right way. And you just rarely see that from a high school team. Most high school teams have a selfish player here or there who will take some bad shots or whatnot. But those guys, man, they played just winning basketball, even last year early. So as the season went on last year and I watched them, I mean, they just continued to gain confidence in their game and each other. So after coaching those guys during the summer, man, I was just straight sold on, hey, Plano East is they're tough. I mean, really tough. To the point where I think Buff had an event at Duncanville High School, and I was telling guys then, because I had coached maybe two, three tournaments by then with those guys, and I was like, listen, they'll contend for a state championship. They was like, no way. And these were some high school coaches at some pretty good. I won't name any names, put anybody on the spot, but they were like, nah. So what I did later in the summer, I told Coach Webster, I said, Coach Webster, at the TABC, there'll be a lot of coaches. And I said, I'm calling Blue and Sam and those guys and telling them, make sure I don't know who the top teams are, but make sure Plano East gets them. And so from there, man, TABC, everybody was at the Brenham game, and that got out of hand really quick. And they played Stony Point and I think Beaumont United. Beaumont United actually beat them, but the other two games they handed pretty easy. So this from that to the season, I mean, they were just rolling, man. They were just
Yeah.
rolling. Coach Webster did a great job of just trusting his guys, and he pretty much just kind of you know gave them the reign to go play.
Yeah.
Um, so what they did was really incredible. You know, um, my only thing that everybody says that they did it with no big guy, a dominant big guy or a dominant guard or 4 stars or 3 star. Listen, man, if you can play, you can play. And I think for me, I think they showed that they can compete and play with anybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. So talk about the kids that you coach. Let's start with Ethan Moss.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something really funny. Coach Wester and I, we've always had a relationship because I've had prior Plano East kids, and so I watched them at a gas so the event before the season in October.
Yeah.
I watched them the previous year before the season, and I saw Ethan, long kid, made shots. So I asked Coach West, I was like, man, I really like the Ethan Moss kid. And he was like, okay, okay. So once the season came, Ethan didn't even play much. So I'm like, where's the kid that I really like?
Hmm.
And so from there, Coach Wester was telling me about the other kids, but Ethan is a shooter, man. I mean, good size. I'm gonna tell you where he's very underrated as a defensive player. He's very underrated, but he had a great summer. I put him in positions where he could shoot the basketball, and he made good on most attempts.
Yeah. He's got beautiful form, and he doesn't even jump off the ground a lot when he shoots the ball.
Right.
It looks. I mean, it looks like he's just in his bed. That's what it looks
That's when
like.
you know you can really shoot it when it's just
Yeah.
effortless.
Yeah. And then John Tran.
John was a kid as I watched Plano East last year. I grew more and more fond of because I was like, man, he can shoot it. Quick release.
Hmm.
And the more I watched him, I was like, John can play. Not only can he
Hmm.
shoot it, he can play. And so I started noticing that his IQ was very sharp and, he passed the ball well, really crafty. So, when I got him for the summer, I was like, man, John is just really good. He can play. And so, you see kids, but you never know what to expect from the summer. And the fact that he competed with some of the top kids in the country and produced all summer, I knew that without a shadow of a doubt that he would have a great season this year with these two.
And then like Narit coming off the bench for Plano East. I mean, I bet that kid probably could have averaged 20 at any other Plano school.
You know what? I'll go on the record to say him and John and even Ethan. I mean, if you could take Ethan and put him, at a different school and just run some stuff. I mean, all those kids, that was the fascinating thing about East to me.
Yeah.
We always talked about it. I said at any game, any of those kids can step up, make big shots, and John and Ethan, I think when you look at it overall, they sacrificed, for the betterment of the team. All those kids did,
Yeah.
but for the two guys that I coach, I think they sacrificed, quite a bit. But that's why I love those kids, man. They just do whatever it takes to win.
And then big time Jordan Mazzell, man. Coaches need to stop sleeping on that kid. It is unreal the things that he can do to impact the game that like you just have to be there. I mean, just in the state game, that tip and one that he had,
That was a beautiful play, man.
I I want him to dunk that one day. His head is right there. I mean, he's right there. But like uh the 20 rebound game he had against Louisville, the countless times that he's on the floor saving loose balls. I
Right,
mean, that's why I always said that he was such him and he complimented DJ Hall so well
right.
because DJ wouldn't have to work so hard down low on offensive rebounds or defensive rebounds because I mean I saw Jordan countless times this year just like go up and grab it from somebody's head like on it's like it's right there above somebody but he's above them grabbing the ball.
Out of
Uh
nowhere.
Athletic freak, man. I mean, to be what 6'2",
Yeah,
can guard uh probably 1 through 3. I mean, hell, I trust him against the 4 just because he's so athletic.
yeah, and tough. Yeah, no doubt.
But enough of me talk about him.
So let me start back with Narit, and then I'm gonna dive
Okay.
into Jordan.
All
What's
right.
funny about Narit is there's some guys that I just trust. We've Coach Rod Taylor. That's my cousin. We're super close. He coaches the Mustangs, but those guys are at most of my games, and I do the same for them. So our first tournament, he was like, "That's your best player, your best guard,"
Yeah.
and I was like, and he made a couple decisions that honestly, um, you don't see kids make too often. So I was like, you know what, you might be right. So Narit probably he probably surprised me the most, but I get it because he's a worker too. And I could see over the summer he just elevated it seemed like every tournament he elevated. So then I started liking the Rit, a little bit more than John and Ethan and Jordan. But it was funny because they all took turns, you know, making me proud in certain moments. But Jordan was the one person that Coach Wester was like, you got to have Jordan Mazzell. And I started watching him early last year, and I was like, Coach, I mean, what is he?
Yeah, that's what we all say. That
Right.
I think that's when you first see that kid play, that's the first thing you're gonna say.
And so it just, I was like, I really like him. But I was like, for me, on the summer, on my summer team, I'm really trying to fill out measurables. Like I want a nice size point guard, a wing with some size. So I was like, and so to be honest, Craig, I was about to have two 17U teams last summer.
Oh wow.
And I told Jordan, I said, Jordan, I'm gonna put you and the Rit on the second team so you can play point the whole summer. And when it didn't work out that way, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put all these kids together. And when I say they took turns, when Jordan finally hit, he hit. I
Hmm.
mean, he had a 20-point rebound game with us this summer. I
Oh
think he
wow.
had 21 or 24. It was incredible, man. Me and my coaching staff would just look at each other and we would just laugh because I was like, this is unreal.
Hmm.
And he shoots the ball better than you would think. He just doesn't.
And he finally started showing that a little bit in the last 3 games. Yeah, I think
Right.
he shot like maybe 5 threes. He hit
Yeah.
probably 3 of them.
So
Uh,
I didn't know that until I got him in the summer.
mhm.
And, I let him play the point. With us last summer, it was just more about whoever got the rebound, let's go. So
Yeah,
I saw that he could play point guard. He just needed to work on decision making a little at times. But man, what he's able to do on the floor is just game changing. He wins games, man. He's just he's the ultimate competitor. Um, and I might get in trouble, but I'm putting it out here on the podcast. Now, Texas Tech reached out to Jordan Mazel, and their message to him is, you win with guys like that. Kids like Jordan Mazel who are just tough, kick your butt every day. I mean, you win with kids like that. So I'm not shocked. A kid like him, you just need to just put him on the floor. He'll make something happen.
yeah.
But what he did, I think he was a big X factor to Plano East team. You know, I know um, big fellow. He did everything he needed to do inside, but the fact that Jordan could go get rebounds and finish and post up I mean, that's just you know, I don't know where West will get another Jordan Mazel in the next however long, but you don't see kids like him too often.
Yeah, and what was your record this summer?
38-3. And I never keep up with records during the summer. Ever. I've never, and the kids told me. And now I knew we
Yeah.
won a lot of games and we
Oh,
lost a
they
few.
kept up with it.
They kept up. They was like, Coach, we
Hey,
was 38-3. I was like, really? They was like, yeah. And when I knew we only lost a few games because we lost the game in overtime. And I didn't have everybody. We lost that first game. So from there, for like 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, we didn't lose. We played Drive Nation, and they got us pretty good. Even
I
John was
remember that.
out. John was out, and my big guy at the time was out. But after that, we went back on another roll, and I was like, wow, it was an incredible summer, man.
Um, enough of that. Let's start concentrating on you a little bit. Um, talk to me about how long you've been. You you're from Dallas?
From Dallas, born and
Okay.
raised
How long have you been in the DFW basketball scene?
all my life.
Talk
20.
to me about where it started.
So grassroots started 20, just full time, 22 years. I would always go back and help the guy that I played for. And I don't know if you know him, but you know his son, Mitch Malone.
Yeah, I know Mitch.
Mitch is my guy. So when I would come home
Shout
during
out
the
Coach
summer,
K.
when I would come home in the summer, I go back and help him during the summer as much as I could. And then I think it was 2002, maybe. Um, I was back with him and had a 17U team that I was coaching. Back then, he may have had 4 17U teams.
He had some dudes.
He had some dudes on every 17U team.
Yeah, Coach. His son, who I know really well. He coaches for Zach.
Right.
When he's not hooping, he's told me some stories, and
Uh,
I
he,
told him y'all need to make a like a Amazon film or something,
he,
because he has some guys,
oh man. Oh man.
pros, a
So
lot of pros.
a lot of pros. And I was a part of the first. I was before it was the Blue Chips. It was North Dallas
Yeah.
1-on-1.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was a part of. I think maybe we had 3 teams that year. So I kind of got in on the ground up, and I mean he took off from there. But I was there from the beginning with him. So that's kind of how I got introduced into the grassroots. When I started coaching straight with him.
So in that period of time, you've seen a lot of good basketball players, games, stuff like that. Uh, are you able to name like your top 5 guys that you've ever seen play from DFW?
Craig, you trying to get me my phone blowing up and the whole.
Oh, I don't know
You know
that.
what? There's so many guys. I don't know if I can name a top five. I can name guys that I really like, and I really like playing. And this is just straight high school.
Yeah,
Um, let's see. For
all of
one,
mine, all the ones that I like have already graduated and gone. So none of
yeah,
these
yeah,
people
yeah.
should.
No, no, no. These will be guys who, I mean, and I'm just strictly talking high school who were really, really good.
Yeah,
First, I'm gonna go with a kid that I really love this kid, Daniel Horton.
yeah,
Played at Cedar Hill back in, I think Daniel came out in maybe 2002
yeah, something like
with
that.
Bosch and those guys. I love Daniel Horton's game, man. I mean, he was special to me.
Yeah.
And that was a very loaded class.
Hmm.
But he was special. Um, Byron Eaton, man. Byron Eaton was special to me.
He's he's in my top 5.
I came home from school to watch. My brother was playing at Mesquite in '99, and I knew the Hopkins brothers,
Hmm.
and so I just went to go watch Lincoln play at Forrester Fieldhouse, and he was a freshman that came off the bench. And the plays that I saw him make as a freshman, I was like, man, he's. I was like, listen, I've seen a lot of basketball, but feel and skill with this freshman, he's special.
Yeah, I always tell this story. He he was a year older than me,
Uh
and my AAU coach put us in this tournament we shouldn't have been in. Um, and we were playing a grade up. So I think I'm in 8th grade and he's going in the ninth. I think I'm going in the 8th. He's going in the ninth.
right.
And we're playing them. This is back. So my coach was a coach at Woodrow Wilson back then. We were playing them in the back gym at Woodrow Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Not that old Hoosiers looking gym that's got the seats up top.
Right.
We're playing them in the back gym, dude. Byron Eaton, Dallas Mustangs. He played for Dallas Mustangs, right?
Right.
Um, they they have 4 people. They have 4 guys. We got our whole team. He's coming down, just stepping past half court and launching it.
Wow.
I mean, it was unreal. Yeah, he probably had 50 points. I mean, because I mean, there wasn't nothing we can do with him. I mean, you're talking about a bowling ball of a kid that could dribble like Kyrie.
Yeah, he was
Like,
special.
is unreal the things that he could do. And I remember when they won state his freshman year,
Yeah.
and my mom. I don't want the Dallas Morning newspaper with this kid that killed us. He
Uh,
absolutely killed us. But my mom gave me the newspaper that day after, and she was like, "Hey, this is Byron Eaton. He blew y'all out at Woodrow Wilson, bro." Yeah, yeah, I remember it. It's fresh in my head. I always cheered for that kid, man. I loved what he did at Oklahoma State. And he was a dual sport kid. I mean, he's
right.
a hell of a quarterback.
Yep.
Um, so what's that? Two?
That's two.
You got three more. You got to do it.
I
Your
gotta go with
notifications are turned off.
I gotta go with a kid that I coached. Um, and he was special. Keith Frazier.
Yeah.
Keith Frazier was one of the best kids I ever coached. And just his talent alone and what he did in high school was special. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Keith Frazier. Um, I'm gonna keep it in the family. I'm gonna go with LeBron Nash.
Yeah.
LeBron Nash in high school was scary. I mean,
The-
he's a grown man. Um, my last guy, Julius Randle.
yeah.
Julius Randle in high school was, I mean, he's unstoppable. From, I mean, and he did that all 4 years at Prestonwood. I mean, he
Yeah.
stepped in the door ready to go. So those guys kind of move
He's
the
a
needle for me. I have one
he's a grown
kid,
ass man.
yeah, one kid that I really love too. So I'm gonna just mention his name because it's hard for me to not. Manuel Moutier. Manuel Moutier was really good to me, man.
Oh yeah.
So it's too many, man.
There's a lot.
It's too many.
See mine are Byron Eaton,
Uh huh.
and I mean I'm gonna say Tyrese because I've never seen anything like that in my life. The things that he did, because I
Yeah.
always say the things that he did in high school, he's doing the same shit at the
And
76ers.
right, right,
There's no difference. He all
right,
that step back, crossing people over, dunking, like he was doing that when he was in 11th grade.
right. No, he was really good.
But
That team that they had was special too.
yeah, it was. And I don't think I've ever gotten Dominique on here. I need to get Dominique on here because I really want to talk to him about that team.
Yeah.
But Darrell Arthur. Um, my favorite game of the year, I always tell people, was that South Oak Cliff, Seagoville. They always met up in like the regional semis or the regional finals.
Right.
And my other two are Donald Sloan and Derek Rowland.
Woo.
Uh, like that combo of guards, I mean, super athletic to go
They,
with the dude that just handles, assists, shot maker, like
yeah, they were.
uh and then I mean South Oak Cliff had the Jameson Morgan, like golly. And they had his brother played on that
Yep.
team too, right?
Yep.
He was older.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that South Oak Cliff team was so big,
They were good.
unreal.
They were really good. So
So
who win? Your five versus my five.
my five, because nobody's guarding Darrell. Well, hold on. Let me step back. Ooh, I don't know, man. Because I mean, Julius in high school, he might have been able to guard Darrell Arthur. I don't know, man. Darrell Arthur was a different monster in
Nah,
high
he
school.
was. I remember the
Uh,
game him and Kevin Durant locked up at.
I was there. Yep,
Yeah,
the
that was.
Dallas Morning News Classic.
Yep, yep,
That's
yep.
another story that I'll always fudge and say is when. Do you remember when they walked in? That was Montrose Christian, right?
Yeah,
I
was it?
believe it was
Yeah,
Montrose,
yeah, out of Maryland.
and he had Gravis Vasquez was his point guard,
Right, right.
and I remember when they walked in, I'm sitting on the baseline at Ellis Davis, uh, close to the basket. I didn't have a media pass back then,
Yeah.
um, but they walk in and they're in suit and tie, and I see everybody in the crowd is like laughing at them, and I noticed Grievous Vasquez is talking,
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah, we love it. But that man, that was a really good one. Like Crabtree played in that, didn't he? Or was he already graduated?
Who played in that event, man?
Because I remember like Lil E from DeSoto.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying. I
Um,
can't remember who I was in that event. Uh,
those were some of the greatest basketball events I want to say
those
all
were
time.
special. Yeah, those were special.
Yeah, man. Uh, at Ellis Davis, I don't think they have anything like that anymore. I think it's switched to the Coca Cola Classic
Yeah.
after that.
Well, you know what? Those were just showcase games before the. Were they before the playoffs?
Yeah,
Yeah. So they were just like warm up games before the playoffs.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing that would, I mean, it's now like the hoop fest. You know.
yeah. Um, so what got you into coaching? You just like being around a game,
Yeah.
helping. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just love the game, and you know, you college kid, you done playing, you don't know what's next. So for me, I'd already been going back in the summer helping because I had a younger brother who I was trying to, make sure he got off on the right in the right direction. So when I got the opportunity, I was just all in because you just love hoops, and
Yeah,
for me actually, Mitch Malone, I mean, back when I was coming up, you went to every rec in the city, from Garland to Irvin to South Dallas to everywhere, Oak Cliff. So that was the thing to do. But, you know, when I started playing with the Blue Chips, I started traveling the country. And for me, I wanted to make sure I was, you know, one of those guys who gave back, let young kids know that, hey, like, dude, you can go play major college basketball, man. So once I got started, it was just for years I said this is my last summer, and I'm still doing it.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Um, is there any coaches or like uh people that you take stuff from and try to mimic into what you do?
um, let me say this, and I've said his name multiple times, but I mean, Mitch Malone from the grassroots standpoint. I mean, he was one of the best, and we've had some really good ones in Dallas. Um, Coach, what's my man name at DeSoto? Rob
Oh,
Wright.
yeah, Rob.
Rob Wright with Slam and Jam and those guys, but Mitch Malone I played for, and he was my mentor. So to watch how he built teams and how he went about his business, it was, I mean, he was my mentor. So everything I do from a grassroots standpoint is a mimic of Mitch Malone. I mean, for years, everybody thought I was his son, all the college coaches. And that's a funny story because that's how I got a lot of my contacts. Um,
Yeah,
they would be like, hey, little Mitch, and so, I was just one of those personable kids, man. And, I asked them for the numbers and let me lock it in, so I was just always networking then. So the way
but
he
back then
built,
you didn't have no Facebook.
nah, it wasn't Facebook, no Facebook, no Facebook.
That was probably before MySpace.
Absolutely. Or during that time, man,
Yeah,
you making me show my age, Craig.
or
MySpace.
Instant Messenger. What what's your screen name? Uh,
Wow,
yeah,
MySpace.
Yeah, man.
So I mimic him a lot, but on the coaching side, on the coaching front, I'm just a basketball guy. So I'll just watch basketball, any play or something I see. I'm just a fan of the game. You know,
Yeah, we go to these events and we sit there for 10 hours and watch basketball. I don't know how we do it, but
yeah,
it must be something inside of that love the game.
absolutely, absolutely.
Um, so talk to me a little bit about how Lone Star Elite became well, constructed. Why was it made and constructed? Where did it come from?
So, the summer I left the Blue Chips, Stacy Houston and I, um, he wanted to start his program, DJ's Five, in his son's honor, and his
Mhm.
son played for us. So, he came to, the staff and was like, "Hey, next year I think, we're gonna do DJ's Five." And he came to me and asked me, what I want to co-ed with him. And so I thought about it and we did it. And, for I think the next 3, maybe 4 years, we were really good. And then, I got to that point where I was like, you know what, is this what I want to continue to do? So I call it my gap year. But I got a call from Houston, from Aaron Harrison. Shout out, AK Aaron Harrison, the Harrison twins' dad. He called me and was like, "Hey, I have this team in Dallas that don't have a coach, and you're the only guy in Dallas I trust to coach them." So we kept talking, and I told him I would think about it, and I went to meet with the parents, and next thing you know, I was coaching them that summer, as the Dallas Defenders, Cam McGriff and those guys.
Yeah.
So I thought that I would
That
keep that.
hold on that was your first year coaching and you had Cam McGriff.
That was my first year with the Dallas Defenders.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Cam McGriff was a big time kid.
yeah, he was. I had a really good group. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, they were the rival to De'Aaron Fox and those guys, the Houston crew. So then Dallas, Jules Miranda was on that eighth grade team. I got him in the ninth grade, but they were bumping heads every summer in championships. They would play each other, Houston against Dallas. So I coached them on the Under Armour circuit that year, and then after that, the team just kind of dismantled, and guys just decided to go play on different other platforms. And so for me, I was like, you know what? Um, I was talking to guys about, what to do next. And, I was approached by Adidas, and they were like, if you're ready, we'll give you a deal. So I had some help with that. But, at that time, I felt like, okay, I put in years helping everybody else. I think I'm ready to have my own program. So 2015, they was like, "Hey, we'll give you a deal," and that has stories in itself on that first year, and because I think it was 4 teams in Dallas that were Adidas: Sean Williams Group, Dallas Mustangs, Urban. It was 5, myself and Von Zell. That was his first year with Marcus Smart,
Okay.
so it was 5
Yeah.
teams that year.
You just said a lot of dudes.
Yeah, a lot of big time guys. A lot of
Jesus.
time guys.
Sean Williams was my second podcast I ever did when I started doing this like 3 years ago. It was
The
like right
son or the
before
dad?
COVID. Sean Williams, the coach at Rock Hill,
Yeah, yeah.
Duncanville. Yeah.
So it was his dad who had the group. Now
Okay.
I'm gonna give him a shout out because as a director, Sean Williams, I kind of looked up to him over the years as far as what he was able to do on the grassroots side. Just with team perspective. I used to like what he did with his teams. So shout out to Big Sean.
Shout out Big Sean. Um, so do you keep up? You, you remember Major League, the movie?
Yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
you remember how what's his name used to hang the glove on the wall
Yeah.
for every steal? Do you keep up with how many kids you've sent to the next level?
With Lone Star Elite, I do. Before, I put in years with the blue chips and um, years with, I think it was 3 years with DJ's five. So I really just started keeping up. So, when I started my own program, but if I count everybody, it's hundreds. But with Lone Star Elite, we're probably, I think, total since 2015, maybe 73 kids, and about probably, I don't know, I have to go back and check. Probably 40, 43 of those were Division One kids. So it's a 2015 to now. What is that? Uh,
9.
9 years. It's pretty good.
That's not bad. I mean, shit. Any anybody that gets a chance to play at the next level, shit, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Um,
And all of the
ta-
kids who played for me, for the most part, have went to school for free. I mean, I've had a kid that went to school post grad during COVID. He decided to just go to college, after. And then I had a couple guys who they just wanted to be a part of the team and get better. So, but everybody who really wanted to continue to play, I've helped them get scholarships.
talk about the feeling of you know, getting those kids up to that point, them
That's
getting
why.
to go to
That's why I
school.
say that. Yeah, that's why I say I can. I don't see myself stopping. I mean, just the.
Yeah,
I mean, this year alone. I mean, it's taken me back probably 10 years, man. I mean, that was probably the most fun group I've ever coached ever. This
yeah,
past year with those Plano East kids, Devon Harris, Cole, Thomas Hunt. Those guys, that was the most fun group by far. So for me, I sat back before the high school season started. I sat back and I would talk to my staff. Shout out to Coach Sims and Coach at Village Tech High School
Coach
and
Darien.
Coach Davis at Sagu. Those
Yeah.
dudes are two of the next up and coming guys in the game. But um, we just kind of met and ate and talked about the summer. And I told those guys, I said, I'm about to do my best work with these guys right here. So I was kind of in that, hey, let's go,
Yeah.
type mode again. But the fact that I know that these guys were all signed, Division One, Division Two, wherever they're going, and it's free, man. Because you have to look at this, Craig, and I'm gonna say this on the podcast, and I mean it. I'm gonna say it with my chest.
For the Three
Ah,
Hoops podcast, he's saying it.
I'm one of the best to ever do it in Dallas. Yeah, you can go ahead and have a drink to that.
It won't be my fault. It won't be my fault that your phone blows up.
But I'm gonna tell you why.
Hey man, hey, I love the confidence. First of all, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Did you know who Narit was 2 years ago or a year ago?
I'll be honest with you. The only player that I knew or knew of were Devon.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Devon play when he went to South Garland.
Okay.
Uh, and I knew, I mean, I went to, well, hold on. I knew John, DJ, and
Mm-hmm.
Xavier.
Okay.
just because of Xavier played really well against Plano Senior High last year when they got beaten overtime, I think.
Got you.
Um, and then I remember I filmed Plano East when they were juniors playing at that Allen some Allen event. It was at Allen High School in a back gym. I think they played Lake Travis and beat Lake Travis.
Oh, at the In and
Was
Out.
that okay? That was the In and
Yeah,
Out.
In
Okay,
and Out.
okay, yeah, I filmed them, but Narit had no idea. Jordan, no idea.
So the reason I say I'm one of the best to ever do it, most guys go after name kids. I take kids, they don't have to have a name to themselves, as far as the top. But if I like them, I'll make sure you in the room. And so for me, you guys, I didn't even know who Narit was before I started, paying attention to Plano East. So I'm taking a team with guys that nobody's really ever heard of. And I'm
Hmm.
taking these kids across the country playing some of the top talents in the country. And these kids finish a season 38-3.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, and you know this. I was over there filming that one game that you when y'all were playing at the SWAC, and y'all were down by like 25 in the first half. And I'm like,
I'm
hey man,
packing up and leaving.
I love you, but there ain't nothing here for me.
Packing up and leaving.
and then and then what do I know? I look over there. I'm on court. I want to call it court four. It's like caddy corner. You were playing on the middle court.
Right.
I'm filming, and I look over, and y'all are up with like 2 or 3 minutes to go, and I'm like, oh my god, what happened?
Uh,
But hey, man, you had a lot of guys that probably could have helped some of those teams, some of those big name teams. And one of them I want to say I think the first one I would take is Devon because
yeah.
I love Devon's mentality,
Oh man.
how tough he plays. He can handle the ball. He can handle just tough defense. He's a shot maker. Um, and the one guy that we haven't talked about is Daniel Thomas.
My God.
Uh,
Double O.
Daniel Thomas, he had a great career at Carter. Um, I don't know what coaches are looking at, but they need to get that kid. That kid is a monster.
Well, I, since we letting cats out the bags on the 4 to 3 Hoops podcast.
Hold on. I'm gonna do this. There you go. I gave you the whole screen.
um, Daniel is gonna be fine. I mean, Daniel was a kid that, listen, man, Daniel, Daniel is going to be a problem in college. I really believe that. I believe his best basketball is ahead of him, and when he gets to a spot where he can just lock in and he's going to be more than fine. But I'm gonna let everybody's been asking, man, where's Daniel going? Why doesn't he have schools? Daniel is just fine. I just don't get on Twitter, and I used to do that, who's calling or what, but Daniel
Yeah,
has ACC, a Big E school, and that's at the top. Who I wouldn't be surprised if he may end up at a Big East or ACC school.
that's crazy.
Best work, best work.
Man, I'm really hoping I can get to some of these signings or whatever this year. I tried to do that in the past. I never get I never
So you know what
am
we want to
able
do,
to.
and I'm glad you said that. I really would like to, even if they have something at their school. I may this year. I was really thinking about renting a little space out and let those guys all have a moment together from a summer side.
Yeah,
Everybody, and from my perspective, I want to have it, as more of a memorabilia. Those guys get to enjoy their moment as a summer team together. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's make it happen. When I do
hey,
it, I'm inviting you.
my
I'm
guy.
inviting you.
Um, and then my next one to go along with all that is like talk about some of the things that you try to do to help young players if they're reaching out to you for advice and navigating this new landscape of college basketball. The portal is the biggest deal right now with freshmen.
Right.
Um, Talk about how you try to help kids navigate. And I'm sure that kids talk to you that don't play for you,
Yeah.
because you have a lot of years in this DFW basketball scene. Talk about that a little bit.
Um. This that question is a loaded question.
Yeah.
Because people, parents and players, they reach out to you for advice, but they rarely use the
Mm.
advice.
Let's move on.
No, I want to stay right there for a minute. um, and for me, just because I'm a director and I have my own program, there's kids that I reach out to because I really don't have tryouts. I go recruit the players. I go watch them. You know, 3 or 4 or 5, 6 games a year and see if they're a great fit for what we're trying to do. So from there, if you could look at my phone and text messages and pieces of paper that I've wrote on throughout the man, if I could ever put the team together of the kids that I want, we'd be tough. But going back to, I explained to parents and kids how this process really works. I encourage them to reach out to college coaches to verify that this is the way it worked. And so, the most disheartening thing about this is, people, they want to be convinced why you should do something this way instead of just being informed. My job is to inform you, not to convince you to come play for Lone Star or go play or for this group or do it this way. I'm just here to inform you and give you the information.
Hmm.
Now, what you do with it after that, is up to you. But I'm always trying to help kids and parents. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So and they don't have to play for me. Uh, I do have a recruiting service, but I'm very selective in who I'll work for. Because some kids, and that's one reason why I can't stop Lone Star Elite is because there's plenty kids who we see every summer that go unnoticed, and my program is kind of that program that give guys who are in the dark a platform to go play on. But we see it, on social media all year. Kids we've seen play in gyms that aren't being recruited. So I try to help throw a bone to some kids, even if they don't play for me. There's
Do you, do you think again that goes back to the way the portal is just stupid?
well, the portal the portal has a big piece to do with it for high school kids. Like these high school kids and parents, they don't have a clue when it comes to if you were 1% or less than 1% that could go to school for free.
Yeah.
Just imagine the portal taking up a lot of those spots. I don't think that they get that piece, and not until after the fact.
Hmm.
Because I try to, that's my biggest thing. I try to educate them and let them know, hey, you need to watch who you playing for, do your research, because it's slim to none for your kid. Everybody wants the Division 1, so you looking at an extra slim chance. So the portal is a big piece to do with it, and that's just the landscape now of college basketball. Everybody wants to get older. If you think about it though, If I'm a college coach, can I trust freshmen to come in and save my job?
I mean, honestly, no.
How many
But
how many high school teams you see with freshmen who are carrying the load?
not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I mean, you kind of saw it with the 2026 class that we have in Texas.
Right,
A
right.
little bit,
Yeah.
but not a lot.
So
Um,
it's the same way when you go to college. I mean, you can take a Kentucky, they're talented enough to make some waves,
yeah.
but I mean, you're talking about the top kids at one school, but you taking a freshman and throwing him. I mean, there's some freshmen who can
I
do
mean, I
enough.
think you used to saw it. I mean, you used to see it in college basketball, like when like the Harrison Barnes and the the kids that were going through Kentucky and man, who am I thinking of? You're you're not seeing it a lot right now in college basketball. A
No,
lot of it is the older guys.
the
Um,
landscape has definitely switched. Yeah,
yeah, like Zach Edey is a junior.
right,
Um, and he's probably going to win National Player of the Year again.
right.
Um, yeah, you don't see it a lot. So
And
like,
I can be honest, guys who are calling my phone, I don't care what I say about a high school kid, a Daniel Thomas or a Rid or a Jordan or a Jump. They like, Coach, we need transfers. Now, I just have a big enough reach to where I can keep tapping and tapping and tapping and find, because we only need one.
mhm.
But I mean, most of these guys, 98% are looking for JUCO, older guys or transfers. So
So
it's where we are.
I saw an AIA kid transferring 26. I was like, hey man, shit. If you keep doing it, do it for as long as you can, man. Do
Right.
it for as long as you can.
Because when that ball stops bouncing, it's done.
Yeah, man. It's like I mean, I work with a lot of young kids. Well, not a lot, but I work with them at my job, and they're always, man, I want to move out of my house, and I want to move out of my parents' house, and I'm like, man, sh- live with your parents as long as you can.
One thing my dad and grandfather used to tell me, they said, boy, when those bills start, they don't stop.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. When we're young, we want to be older, but when we're older, we want to be young.
Be right.
Yeah.
But
So,
you know what? I think it's a big thing to say too, though. For most freshmen, kill your expectations. That's for kids and parents. You go to college, I mean, just work hard every day, compete every day, chop wood
yep.
every day. And if you're able to play as a freshman, great. If not, stick to it and keep getting better. If you're supposed to be there and play, I don't know of any coach who has a really good talent and say, I'm just not playing that kid. I'm just not doing it. And you're doing everything you're supposed to do. I mean, this
Well,
game wasn't meant for everybody to play and start and get 25 minutes a game.
now hold on. Now hold on. What if you're a top kid? You go to a school, you're not playing. Your your coach is scared that if he puts you on the floor at a mid-major college, you're gonna average 20 points a game, and you're gonna get out of there. What about that stuff?
I
Because
think
I've
that
seen it.
you're probably right. And I think that happens less than more. And I'll say this because if you're a top kid and you're at a mid major, if they really need you and you're that good, you're going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, if there's some kids in front of you that are really good and they can bypass, that's just the coach's decision.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have to look at it this way. If you're a coach, if I don't play you, you'll leave. If I play you and do good, you'll leave. So, it's
Yeah.
if you average 7 points and you're like, man, coach, I should be here. I'm transferring, put my name in the portal. I'm trying to go high major.
Hmm.
It's dang if I do, dang if I don't.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a situation with every particular program. But I think the expectation of all freshmen now are they're good enough to go play right away, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. I think they've got to get that out of their mind. Like as a freshman, I think if you're not like top 20 in the country, like you're not gonna go in and get the minutes you want right off the bat. Because physically you're not ready.
Right,
Um, mentally, that's going to test you, and you may not be that mentally ready either.
right. And to
Um,
be honest, Craig, I don't even like limiting it to like top 20 because
okay.
when you look at rankings, to me, I mean rankings are needed, but they aren't because
Yeah.
there's some kids every year we look at that are highly ranked. They go to school and do nothing. So to me, it's
Fair to
just
say.
on a person to person, player to player basis. Like if you're good enough, we'll play you. If you're not, hey, my job is on the line. I'll do what's best for the program and my paycheck.
Yeah. Shout out to T John. T John got some minutes at McNeese this year, and McNeese McNeese played some big time basketball this year.
Yep,
Um, but man, T John was one of those kids is always going to work.
absolutely.
One of the best on ball defenders I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. If you're
Uh,
willing to work for it, I can't tell you what you can't do.
yeah. So
Yeah.
talk to me. So if like, how do you navigate the spring and summer as far as finding a team? Um, again, do parents need to reach out to coaches or, um, I mean, I guess how do you find out where your kid fits the best?
You mean kids that play for me?
Yeah, let's go with you. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm gonna make sure we got it right. So for me, how does a player that play for me fit? How do I know who to reach out to and for the
Well,
kid?
yeah,
Got you. Uh, for me, I'm just again, basketball is life. So in my space, shout out to my space. No, I'm
MySpace.
just kidding.
Shout out Tom.
So, but in the space that I'm in, college coaches are constantly calling, not just only about my players, but about North Texas kids. So, for me, there's a rhyme and a reason with it for me, and it has to make sense. Like I watch college basketball, I do something these kids don't do. I watch college basketball. I have relationship with coaches. So I know how they like to play. And this is what I do for every kid that plays for me. I'll reach out to 10 or 12 schools right off the bat, but it's based on fit. Like I can see you playing at these 10 schools. So I don't ever I stopped that a long time ago, just going through the Rolodex and saying, hey, I'm going to send this highlight to they don't fit everywhere. So for me, I only reach out based on fit based off style of play and the personality of the kid. Because a lot of these coaches, like I say, I have relationship with. So just talking to them, they'll let you know what they're looking for and what kind of kids they like. You know, so that's how I kind of that's the method of the madness for me. Like Narit, Narit and John, he preferably wanted a high academic, which that's understandable. He has a 4.6 GPA, 1510 test score. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
MIT.
MIT or Patriot League or Ivy League. I mean, that's what he said he wanted. And I think that every every program director and coach, you should do that with your players before they even play a game for you. Find out, what are some best fits for them, and that's how you kind of, go about it. Don't just, take a shot in the dark, just because you have a coach's number, you know.
Where where did I'm very interested in this answer. Where did Narit and John play at before they got with you? Were they playing at the PSA leagues?
They played for a team. Um, I don't want to screw the name up, but they played for a small team of, just some local Plano kids.
Probably Isaiah played with them. Probably.
No, Isaiah always kind of
Okay.
played on a, yeah. I think it was Narit, John, Ethan. I think Jordan. I'm not sure about Jordan. I think he played. He's kind of played with a couple teams, but I mean, it was a team you never heard of unless you
Yeah.
just was off the beaten path.
Yeah. Uh, what's that trophy behind you? Is that just a statue?
Let's see. I think that's
Is that the 38-3 trophy?
no. That's from 2013 Next Level Nationals champions. I think that was 2013. That was Wes Grandstaff. Wes
mm,
Grandstaff was doing. He was
the
partnering
legend.
up with the EYBL, and we won. Um,
He had some players too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I coached 16U on the EYBL with Wes one year. Um, but no, I have some Gasso championship trophies, and yeah, I got some. I mean, now I got away from winning trophies. I mean, we don't even we play showcase games now, but we found out pretty early that, you stop winning trophies after you're in middle school, you know.
Yeah. Um, talk to me about like when you were young, when you were a teenager playing basketball and stuff. Were you playing outside?
Listen, outside,
You
we
you
was out.
you know what I want to say.
Well, first of all, when I was growing up, if you came in the house after you were outside, you had that you heard this: stay in or out. Next time you come in, you staying in.
Let the
So
air
we stay
conditioner out.
outside all day,
Yeah,
drink out of water fountains, get under shade
the
tree,
hose.
take a nap in somebody's back of the truck, and we back at it again until the street light go off. So
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, when I probably not until I got to high school, I started playing in rec centers. Most of my time was outside, playing outside on courts.
yeah. It baffles me, man. That it just like they don't play outside no more, man. And I guess
Well,
I guess go ahead.
these kids don't play inside that much. I mean, you think about this,
That's funny.
and there's no knock to trainers, but that was unheard of when I was a kid. And so now these kids don't play outside, don't go to rec centers, um, don't stay after school until they make them leave the gym. I mean, so now you have to get a trainer to compensate for that. But the one thing that, and this
I
is
think
my,
my sorry to cut you off, but I think
uh
my brother's friend that lived down the street from us was the one that taught me how to dribble between my legs.
yeah. I mean, we didn't have trainers. It was just, let me throw myself into the equation because as a kid, man, I used to just ride my bike, bounce the ball, and I used
Mhm.
to challenge myself to see if I could still dribble it and ride the bike at the same time. So that was happening all the way up. Think about this, Craig. None of these kids have the creative ability outside of a trainer. I was trying to come up with moves in my garage and outside. I wasn't trying to go to somebody to learn a move. I was trying
You
to come up with a move.
you weren't watching Hot Sauce, were you?
Oh, absolutely. 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 I may have something for you. I may, you know what? I'll post it on Twitter sometime later. Um, it'll yeah. Since you said hot sauce and those guys, yeah, and one was definitely yeah. But again, that was
My
just net.
my favorite one was Ali Mo.
Alamo.
R.I.P. Ali Mo.
Those guys were
Uh,
tough, man.
man,
But these guys just don't have creative ability anymore because they're going to people learning a euro versus and euro has been in the game. Think about this. If you go to a trainer, he's teaching you somebody else's move. So now when we go watch basketball, we see all these kids doing euros when they don't have to.
no.
So now you losing the skill and feel. That's what you used to get playing one on one in 25
Yeah,
and
25.
yeah, I mean,
Did
you
you
got
play
to be able.
tip-ins or no tip-ins?
It just depends on where you played. Depends on where you played,
Oh man, tip-ins, man, tip-ins all day, man. The game would never end.
man.
You go
So
right back to zero if you don't. If you're at 24 and you miss the free throw, you go back to 10 or whatever. I don't know.
well, we used to go back to 15.
There's a lot of different rules people
Yeah, we
had,
used to
man.
go back to 15. So that's when you had to go one on whoever was at the park. Nobody's letting you get that last bucket.
Yeah, and I mean, man, I remember when I was in high school, man. The elementary school that's right behind Poteet, man, both courts would be packed every single night, and them
Let me
lights
tell
stayed on
you.
until 11 o'clock.
Ah man, what was the name of it?
Austin Elementary,
Was it Austin?
yeah, Austin Park,
Yeah, no, I every park in
or
Mesquite.
or over at Canada.
Yeah, I can't remember the names. I just know you better go hit that button before those lights get ready to shut off.
Yeah, and there was a church, the Sunnyvale Church
Right,
out
right.
here had a court behind their church that was nice, man. But people don't know how to take care of stuff that's not theirs,
Yeah,
and then they would break them rims all the time, and they
yeah,
got fed up and took the rims down.
yeah.
Uh, but I remember that's where Roger.
Right, 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 right.
Roger brought Darrell Arthur up there one night, and it was like, man, why the hell you bring this guy? It's not even fair. It's not even gonna be fun no more.
uh,
Um, man, I don't know if kids know what it's like to shoot on a double rim.
that's when you know you can really shoot.
Yeah,
You can shoot on a double rim and hit nothing but the chains or the net. That means you was special.
yeah, yeah. Them double rims are tough. Um,
But you
man,
know what? I don't know where you were going with that question, but um, those Plano East kids, they go anywhere and play, and
you
you can
shoot on a double
probably
rim.
tell by the way that they play.
I think Rashad would probably be the best one on a double rim because his arc on that shot is crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
no, he got the lefty. He got the lefty touch for sure.
Shoot it to the moon.
Yeah, rainbow.
Yeah, for real. Uh, man, I don't have much more, man. I don't know where to go. I appreciate you, man. First podcast back, and it's an hour and 20 minutes. I appreciate you coming on, man.
No, I appreciate you for having me, man. And I appreciate you for everything you're doing for the kids. I mean,
Yes,
it's
sir.
now it's straight. We're in a media storm, so the fact that we have guys who able to capture, film and video for the kids, highlights, so the world can see it now. Is I think that's great what you're doing. So keep that up, my guy.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
And we may even have to get a 40 and over, 30 and over league, so I can bring you on a squad. And
I'm not 40 yet.
okay,
I just
but
turned 36.
oh, well, you close enough. You close enough.
I mean, if they'll let me play, I'll play. I mean, I don't play defense.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna.
any of us are.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not playing defense, but I'll definitely spot up, take some shots, dribble off my foot a little bit.
I don't think any of us are playing too much defense. So maybe we just go shoot some horse and bet
I'm
on.
always down.
Got you, got you.
But hey, you gonna have to catch me outside at my court over there where I go all the time when I make my Twitter videos.
I got you.
And kids, work on your damn free throws.
Oh my God.
Work on your damn free throws.
Work on your free throws and work on your game.
Um,
Work on your
that's all I
game.
got, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, my guy.